So what is happening currently is that the change in the lifestyle is causing a shift in the diseases that is occurring. So more younger population is being affected by the common ailments like your diabetes, hypertension, cardiovascular diseases.
When it comes to chronic illness, I've seen that so many patients, it has been affecting different age groups.
Here on our second podcast week at the cafe. And we have with us a very esteemed case, Dr. Gautami Pai. And that's how I think we will be making all the public aware of the problems that we are facing.
But I've seen that one of the most common chronic illness is Parkinson's disease.
They will have this tremor, so there won't be coordination, so they will need help. So there has to be constant help that has to be available at all times to the clinic. Something called as support groups. So you have support group for patients and support group for caregivers. So a group of people with similar mindset or similar illness will come together and help in reducing the pain that is mentally, emotionally, that is faced by the caregivers.
Hello everybody. This is Anna Karis and we are here on our second podcast week at the cafe. And we have with us a very esteemed case, Dr. Gautami Pai.
Hello everyone, I am Dr. Gautami Pai, working as a senior resident in Goa Medical College.
We welcome you on board at the cafe. And since this is a very, increasing rise in chronic diseases over the past year, we just want to know what exactly do you see are the factors which are contributing to this rise in chronic disease and how is it affecting the population in India?
So there are many factors causing this. So there are socio-economic factors, mainly your dietary changes, your urbanization, your lifestyle modification, and financial costs also are contributing to this. Also, your alcohol consumption, tobacco consumption are also contributing to this.
Okay, and do you feel the public is aware? How can we educate the public more about all this?
So public has to be given lot of counseling, a lot of education has to be started right from the school itself, colleges, yes. A lot of awareness has to be created through camps, advertisement. And that's how I think we will be making all the public aware of the problems that we are facing.
Ma'am, that's great. Now, when it comes to chronic illness, I've seen that so many patients, it has been affecting different age groups. So how do you think, what are the age factors, the profile of patients which have changed over the last decade? Do you think it's affecting more of youngsters or do you think it's affecting, a different age group, people already having existing diseases?
So what is happening currently is that the change in the lifestyle is causing a shift in the diseases that is occurring. So more younger population is being affected by the common ailments like your diabetes, hypertension, cardiovascular diseases. Also, there is an increase in the comorbidities. So along with this physical ailments, also there is mental health problems which are seen. Moreover, patients, that is the people, are well educated. So they are using all digital world. That is your telehealth communication, that is your video consultation. Also, patients are using continuous glucose monitors, smartwatches. So there is a lot of shift that has happened over the decades from the older population to the younger generation.
That's great, man. But I've seen that one of the most common chronic illness is Parkinson's disease. And so many people have been affected by it. So what do you think are the factors necessary giving rise to this disease? And who are the most affected with this?
So what is happening is, because of this, it causes a problem to the whole family, the caregivers, the whole society. So basically this Parkinson's is a lifelong chronic condition. So patients require help throughout their life for their daily activities. Also it causes emotional drain. That is, the caregivers, the family members can have cognitive problems, sleep disturbances, mood changes. Along with this, it also causes a financial burden, right from the medications to the hospital charges. Also, the caregivers might have to lose their jobs in order to take care of the patients. So they can have less income. So it causes a financial burden too.
And do you think something like professional nurses being hired for such patients, is it do you think it's a necessity?
Yeah, it should be done right from the professional nurses who have to be given a lot of training. They need to know how to take care of the patients, what are the complications that can happen, their medications, how to give them the dosing, the schedule.
Correct.
And it is like a group approach. So it is like a multidisciplinary approach.
True.
So right from the patient's relatives, family, to the nurses,
Correct.
to the pathologists, audio pathologists that is
Yes.
needed for the speech therapy,
Yes.
and other then doctors. So
Correct.
it's like a multidisciplinary approach.
So you agree that Parkinson's is a very chronic illness and it's affecting a lot of age. So ma'am, now since we've discussed Parkinson's as a whole topic, what do you think are the major risk factors these patients face while at home, and how does it affect their family members? What are the things they go through while having a Parkinson patient at home?
So the symptoms that these Parkinson's patients have are resting tremors. So right from doing their day-to-day activity like eating or brushing, they will have this tremor. So there won't be coordination. So they will need help. So there has to be constant help that has to be available at all times of the day. Second, there is slowing of motion and they have this gait disturbances. So there is imbalance. So there is chance of tripping and falling down. So there has to be support available throughout. Third is it causes a lot of financial burden. So there are a lot of medications, the hospital charges. So basically there is reduced quality of life that is seen.
Correct.
So this family has to be very supportive and has to help them with all their day-to-day activities.
Because it can be a lot of burden for the family members, especially since they're bedridden, and then to move them from one place to another also can be a lot of hassle. So all that also takes into consideration.
Yes.
That's great. Ma'am, we have seen that there are so many trained caregivers, who are available and they are ready to give services. So what do you think is the greatest role a caregiver can give to a Parkinson patient, and how can it benefit them?
So basically, these caregivers are needed to help these Parkinson's patients for their day-to-day activities, right? From helping them to do their daily tasks to taking them to the hospital, giving them the medication, proper dosing, proper schedule of the medication. Second thing, the family plays an important role here because of the emotional aspect that is involved. So these patients also have a lot of cognitive decline.
Correct.
They have lot of sleep disturbances.
Yes.
They can undergo depression, anxiety. So the family members have to take care of them, be with them, have a lot of supportive role. So this is how it can be helpful.
Yes, because we in India, we fear a lot when we say we want to hire a caregiver because we do not know the roles and responsibilities. But I feel it's very important, especially for a patient like this, if a trained nurse is available and knows the roles and responsibilities, then it can help a lot of patients. Don't you agree?
Yes.
So, ma'am, now as a doctor, there have been so many instances where, you're continuously working and you're trained for the care which you provide to the patient. But what do you feel about the caregivers? What is the care given to them? How do they go on with their lives? So, can you give our little audience a little about that?
So basically, caregivers are also human beings.
Yes.
So they also need help.
Correct.
So that help comes from the family. Okay, so the family has to be supportive. Then there is something called as support groups. So you have support group for patients and support group for caregivers. So a group of people with similar mindset or similar illness will come together and help in reducing the pain that is mentally, emotionally, that is faced by the caregivers. So this is how, by providing lot of resources, support, we can reduce the burnout that is being faced by these caregivers.
Correct. And you guys also do a lot of 36 hours, 24-hour shifts. So that is also a lot for a doctor. So how do you, plan out, or what is the thing you tackle burnout when you are at work?
So basically, if I try to take some off for myself. That is, I try to do something that gives me happiness. Maybe listen to music, have good meal, spend time with friends and family.
Yes.
If I need help, I will always ask for it.
Correct.
Yeah, that's how I think.
Okay, that's great. As we keep evolving, ma'am, we have seen with the rise in technology, patient care has also been increased due to various apps which are available. But what is one thing that technology or AI cannot replace when it comes to patient care?
So basically the emotional component.
Yes.
So that is your empathy,
Correct.
compassion. Okay. Also the human touch that you get from the doctors or the caregivers, that is not seen with your technology.
Correct.
The trust that patients have in doctors, that relationship, doctor-patient relationship,
Yes.
that is only seen through human beings. That is not seen through technology.
Correct.
So that is one thing that is won't be available even if
True.
everything we achieve through
Yes,
technology.
because only when we communicate, when the patient tells you the problems, you'll be able to understand it. And it's a natural human thing to understand another person. So I think that is one thing I also would agree upon. Ma'am, we have seen you dealing with so many patients, right? From ICU to emergency ward to OT. But what do you feel, or who is that one patient which inspired you, or something which you learned in your life through your entire career?
So the story starts when I joined my internship.
Correct.
So I was in the ward. So suddenly one patient had cardiorespiratory arrest,
True.
but there was no help around available at that moment of time. So whatever I had some knowledge from my MBBS, I
Correct.
used that and I was able to revive the patient back.
Okay.
So that made me feel that if I put in a lot of effort,
Yes.
I should be able to help and improve the life of patient.
True.
That's how I chose this branch which deals with emergencies, that is
Yes.
anesthesia and
Yeah.
critical care.
Yeah.
So I have patients right from ICU to emergencies
Yes.
to operation theatre. So that's how it has made me more, capable
Correct.
and to deal with all these emergencies and all these adrenaline rush type of situations.
True.
Yeah, that's how it's been.
Okay, and ma'am, now as we come an end to our podcast, our small audience would love to hear from you. What would be one key takeaway you would love to give our audience regarding, healthcare and also caregivers? Because since we know that in India, patients and people find it very difficult to trust caregivers. So one small giveaway tip to our audience.
So this whatever chronic illnesses that can happen to anyone at
Correct.
one point of their life.
Yes.
So we have to be very considerate if we have seen this in our family.
Yes.
Be supportive to them. Always give help whenever possible.
Yeah.
Okay. If you don't understand anything, try to take help from somebody. There are a lot of resources available.
Correct.
Ask for help.
Yes.
But always show that empathy and compassion
Yes.
towards people. Do not try to ignore them.
Yes.
Do not try to judge them.
Correct.
Because no one will do it on purpose.
On
It will
purpose.
be something that they have to deal with.
Correct.
Some point of time, you also might be suffering from
Yes.
it. So be nice to them. Be kind to them.
Because a lot of people require that help. They will not say it, but they will require it from you. So, as a doctor, it's very important, I feel. So, thank you so much, ma'am, for coming on board with us at the Capel, because this is our podcast and we would love you to know, our audience to know more about all this. So, you have given the audience a lot, about chronic illness, why is caregiving help important, and also what are the challenges faced by you as a doctor. So, thank you so much, and that is it from our side.